Have you ever truly paused in the quietest chambers of your being to contemplate the enigmatic essence of that substance we casually call alcohol? Beyond the effervescent cheer and the fleeting comfort, what profound spiritual imprint does it truly etch upon the canvas of your soul? For millennia, humanity has woven this elixir into the very fabric of its rituals, its celebrations, its escapes. Yet the true narrative, the hidden mysteries whispered through the ages by forgotten sages and illuminated beings, remains largely concealed, veiled by centuries of societal conditioning and deliberate obscurity. Tonight, we embark upon an unprecedented journey, piercing through the shimmering illusions to unearth the Sabadoria ancestral, an ancient wisdom that lies dormant, waiting to be rediscovered by every sincere seeker of spiritual illumination. What if the very libation you embrace as a key to social liberation or momentary solace is, in its deepest energetic resonance, a subtle spiritual sedative, meticulously crafted through esoteric origins, linked inextricably to the subtle, yet potent, practices of inner alchemy, not for elevation, but for grounding, even binding? We will confront the unsettling truths whispered in forbidden texts, uncovering how this ubiquitous liquid interacts with your very cosmic energy, altering not just perception, but the delicate architecture of your spiritual being. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew, for the revelations awaiting you are not merely intellectual curiosities, but catalysts for a profound transformation, an awakening that every spiritualist must intimately know and courageously embrace. This is not merely a story. It is a vital decryption, an unveiling of veiled realities. Consider for a moment the very word spirit within the term spirits when referring to alcoholic beverages. Is this merely a linguistic coincidence, a whimsical turn of phrase, or does it hint at a profound, almost literal, connection to the ethereal realms? Ancient wisdom, enshrined in fragments of forgotten lore and etched into the collective unconscious, posits that certain substances possess the inherent capacity to interact not just with the physical body, but with the subtle energetic fields that envelop and define your spiritual essence. Alcohol, in this ancient understanding, is not simply fermented grain or fruit. It is a meticulously crafted agent, initially understood perhaps as a means to alter consciousness, not necessarily to suppress it, but to guide it along specific trajectories. Yet, the hidden mysteries begin to unfurl when we investigate the true alchemical intention behind its creation. The alchemists of old, those true masters of inner alchemy, sought to transmute base metals into gold. Yes, but this was merely a metaphor, a veil for the far more profound work of transforming the lead of the lower self into the spiritual gold of enlightenment. Within this grand tapestry, certain elixirs were indeed concocted. Some were meant to elevate the spirit, to open pathways to spiritual illumination, to heighten perception. Others, however, were designed to ground the spirit, to bind it, to make it less porous to the influx of cosmic energy, thereby reducing sensitivity, muting the intuitive voice, and essentially rendering the individual less susceptible to unfiltered spiritual experiences, both benign and overwhelming. This latter category, my seeker, is where the roots of what we now call alcohol truly lie, particularly in its modern, widely consumed form. Imagine a time when humanity was far more connected to the unseen, when the veil between worlds was thinner, and the raw influx of cosmic energy could be overwhelming, even disorienting. Some forbidden texts, particularly those whispered about in the shadow libraries of Alexandria, or unearthed from the sands of forgotten Sumerian cities, hint at a deliberate choice by certain ancient priesthoods, or perhaps even extraterrestrial influences, to introduce agents that would settle the human spirit, to provide a form of psychic ballast. This wasn't necessarily an act of malevolence initially, but perhaps a pragmatic response to a perceived spiritual overstimulation, a method to manage the intensity of collective consciousness, or even to control burgeoning psychic abilities. Within a populace, the purpose shifted from management to manipulation as power dynamics evolved. These texts describe a process, not merely of distillation and fermentation, but of energetic imprinting, where the very act of creation imbued the liquid with a vibrational signature designed to lower the frequency of the human aura, creating a kind of spiritual filter. When you partake, this liquid, vibrating at a lower, denser frequency, acts like a magnet, drawing your own higher cosmic energy downward, anchoring it more firmly to the material plane. It dulls the sharpness of your spiritual senses, blurs the edges of your perception of the unseen, and makes you more receptive to external influences rather than your own inner guidance. It becomes a subtle seducer, promising release while delivering spiritual confinement. Consider the sensation itself. Initially, a loosening, a feeling of lightness or freedom. Is this true liberation or the detachment of your higher self from your physical vessel, leaving the latter vulnerable and less discerning? The ancient seers knew this distinction intimately. They understood that genuine spiritual illumination comes from heightened awareness, from the expansion of consciousness, not its contraction or numbing. This inner alchemy, the true transmutation of self, demands clarity, disciplined focus, and an unwavering connection to the higher vibrations of the universe. Alcohol, by its very nature and its alchemical design, works in opposition to this process. It creates a temporary, illusory transcendence, a simulacrum of spiritual experience that ultimately pulls one further away from true self-realization. Reflect on the collective use of alcohol in our modern society. It is the lubricant of social interaction, the crutch for anxiety, the escape from reality. But if it truly serves as a spiritual sedative, then its widespread acceptance and promotion take on a far more sinister implication. Could it be a tool, consciously or unconsciously, to maintain a certain level of spiritual dormancy within the population, preventing a mass awakening, hindering our collective potential for profound spiritual illumination and the full activation of our cosmic energy? This inquiry into the spiritual nature of alcohol forces us to confront not just our personal habits, but the very mechanisms by which our reality might be subtly engineered. It begs the question, if this ubiquitous substance has such profound effects on our spiritual architecture, what other elements within our daily lives, seemingly mundane and innocuous, might also be functioning as energetic inhibitors or conduits for hidden agendas? For the true alchemist, the journey of transformation begins with dissecting the known, questioning the accepted, and daring to look behind the veil of the obvious. What other sacred plants, revered in antiquity for their spiritual properties, have been similarly misrepresented, or their true power suppressed, or even inverted in the modern world? The answer, my friend, lies in the exploration of the ancient botanical wisdom, often hidden in plain sight. Indeed, the very subtle fabric of our existence. Our luminous energy body is the first casualty in this unseen war against spiritual awakening. Imagine your aura, that vibrant, pulsating field of cosmic energy surrounding you, not merely as a protective sheath, but as a complex symphony of frequencies, each note resonating with your inner state, your connection to the universal flow. When alcohol enters the system, it is not simply a chemical reaction, it is an energetic assault. It introduces a disruptive frequency, a dissonant chord that immediately begins to fray the intricate threads of this energetic tapestry. Think of the aura as a finely woven silk garment designed to repel energetic impurities and filter cosmic insights. Alcohol acts like a corrosive solvent, dissolving its protective weave, creating fissures and ruptures through which vital life force leaks outwards. An undesirable energetic debris infiltrates inwards. This energetic degradation is most acutely felt in the chakra system, those spinning vortexes of energy that serve as the primary conduits for cosmic energy within our being. each chakra aligned. Along the spine governs not only specific physiological functions, but also intricate emotional, mental, and spiritual states. The root chakra, grounding us to earthly stability, becomes sluggish, its vibrant red hue dulled, leading to feelings of insecurity and fear. The sacral chakra, seat of creativity and emotional flow, becomes congested, manifesting as emotional blockages or erratic desires. The solar plexus, the locus of personal power and will, is compromised, leading to a diminished sense of self, a susceptibility to external influences, and an inability to assert one's true sovereign intent. The heart chakra, the wellspring of love and compassion, becomes hardened, encased in an energetic shell that prevents genuine connection. The throat chakra, voice of truth and self-expression, is stifled, manifesting as a struggle to communicate authentic feeling. The third eye, gateway to intuition and spiritual sight, becomes clouded, its visionary clarity obscured by an almost deliberate haze, making spiritual illumination seem an ever-distant mirage. And the crown chakra, our direct link to divine, consciousness and higher wisdom, is largely severed, its connection tenuous, if not entirely dormant. The ancient wisdom, encoded in cryptic symbols and forbidden texts of civilizations like the Egyptians and the Vedic seers, spoke not just of physical abstinence, but of energetic purity. They understood that the clarity of the soul's mirror, essential for inner alchemy, was directly proportional to the integrity of one's energy field. The sacred rituals, the dietary laws, the meditative practices, all were designed, in part, to maintain this energetic coherence, to protect the individual from what they termed spiritual parasites, or lower astral entities that are drawn to such energetic vulnerabilities like moths to a flickering, corrupted flame. When one's aura is compromised by the dissonant frequencies of alcohol, it becomes an open doorway for these non-beneficial influences, subtly eroding one's free will, amplifying negative thought patterns, and siphoning away one's precious cosmic energy. This is not merely a metaphor. It is an observed energetic reality, witnessed by those who possess the refined faculties of subtle perception. The persistent dullness, the inexplicable anxieties, the creeping apathy that often follow regular consumption are not merely hangovers of the physical body, but echoes of a wounded spirit, a soul struggling under the weight of an unacknowledged, energetic burden. Consider the alchemical process within. True inner alchemy is the transformation of lead into gold, not just metaphorically within the psyche, but energetically within the very fabric of one's being. It demands pristine energetic conditions, a clear vessel for the manifestation of higher consciousness. How can the base metals of our lower nature be transmuted into the golden light of spiritual illumination when the alchemical retort, our energy field, is continuously being poisoned and fractured? The very essence of our divine spark, our inherent cosmic energy, struggles to flow unimpeded through these compromised conduits. This brings us to a crucial, often overlooked aspect of societal control. If individual spiritual potency is diminished, if the collective capacity for profound inner alchemy is systematically undermined, what then becomes of humanity's true potential? Could it be that substances like alcohol, so readily available and socially sanctioned, serve a dual purpose, not only to pacify the restless spirit, but to actively prevent the emergence of a fully awakened, energetically robust populace? This understanding reveals a profound truth. Your choices are not merely personal. They ripple through the collective consciousness, either reinforcing the slumber or igniting the flame of awakening. Yet, if certain substances erode our energetic integrity, making us vulnerable, what then of the converse? What if there exist frequencies, vibrations, and even sacred elixirs, perhaps from the very botanical realms we began to consider, that could not only repair these energetic breaches, but elevate the human energetic field to unprecedented levels, unlocking dormant abilities and accelerating the journey toward ultimate spiritual illumination? The path to discovering these ancient secrets, my friend, often begins not with what we consume, but with how we perceive the very air we breathe, the light that falls upon us, and the subtle energies that define our every waking moment. The cultural programming, my friend, is a masterstroke of illusion, a pervasive spell cast upon the collective consciousness, leading us to believe that the very substances which diminish our energetic integrity are, paradoxically, the keys to unlocking social ease, confidence, and celebration. Observe how tirelessly the media, the advertisers, the very narratives spun around us champion alcohol not merely as a beverage, but as an indispensable ritual element, a lubricant for connection, a catalyst for joy. They whisper promises of camaraderie, of effervescent joy, of a boldness previously unknown, all contained within a glass. This pervasive narrative, woven into the very fabric of our celebrations and rites of passage, subtly yet powerfully conditions us. It teaches us to outsource our inherent capabilities for connection and confidence to an external agent. It subtly diverts our gaze from the profound wellspring of inner alchemy that resides within each of us, capable of generating authentic joy and connection without external crutches. This is a profound hidden mystery embedded within plain sight, the obfuscation of our innate spiritual illumination, replaced by a convenient, commercially viable substitute. Consider the ancient wisdom that permeated cultures untouched by this modern programming. The Eleusinian mysteries, for instance, in ancient Greece, or the shamanic traditions of indigenous peoples across continents, understood altered states of consciousness profoundly. Yet, their practices, often involving specific plant medicines or rigorous spiritual disciplines, aimed not at dulling the senses or eroding energetic integrity, but at heightening perception and opening conduits to the cosmic energy that pulses through all existence. They sought spiritual illumination, a direct communion with the divine, not oblivion or a temporary blunting of anxieties. The forbidden texts of our own inherent human design, the blueprints for accessing these elevated states of being, have been systematically overwritten by a script that champions a superficial, easily consumable facsimile, when society champions alcohol as the pathway to confidence. It subtly undermines the very journey of inner alchemy that cultivates true self-assurance. True confidence emerges from a deep knowing of self, from an unshakable connection to one's own energetic truth, from the courage to stand unmasked. The fleeting bravado induced by alcohol is but a pale imitation, a borrowed facade that evaporates with the dawn, often leaving behind a deeper sense of energetic depletion and self-reproach. This is where the true insidious nature of the programming lies. It convinces us that our most profound human needs, for belonging, for joy, for courage, can be satisfied by a substance that, in essence, creates a temporary energetic void, making us more susceptible to external influences, less attuned to our subtle intuition, and further removed from our own authentic cosmic energy. It is a brilliant, albeit tragic, strategy to keep the collective spiritual illumination at bay. The question then arises, if alcohol, so deeply embedded in our social rituals, serves to diminish our energetic field and cloud our spiritual illumination, what then of the converse? What if the true sacred elixirs are not substances to be consumed for an external effect, but rather states of being cultivated through disciplined inner alchemy, through practices that resonate with ancient wisdom, through a rediscovery of the forbidden texts written not on parchment, but within the very fabric of our DNA? What if the greatest hidden mystery is simply the unlearning of centuries of conditioning, the shedding of these imposed layers, to reveal the dazzling cosmic energy that has always pulsed within, awaiting our conscious recognition? To truly embark on this journey, To transcend the programmed limitations, one must confront the uncomfortable truth that what has been presented as social glue might, in fact, be a subtle energetic shackles dot. And as you begin to shed these conceptual chains, as you peel back the layers of societal expectation and fabricated need, a deeper query emerges, one that whispers from the forgotten corners of ancient wisdom and beckons towards the very edge of human potential. If true energetic integrity and spiritual illumination are not found in the celebrated rituals of modern society, where then do they reside? What forgotten frequencies, what untainted waters, what lost practices hold the genuine keys to unlocking the boundless cosmic energy of your being, unmediated by programming, unmarred by illusion? This is not a journey for the faint of heart, for it demands a radical re-evaluation of everything you thought you knew about joy, connection, and the very nature of reality itself. It invites you to seek beyond the familiar into the realm of the truly transformative. The very fabric of the familiar, woven with social custom, hides a profound energetic paradox. Consider the ubiquitous elixir society embraces: alcohol, celebrated as connection, stress balm, inhibition liberator. Yet, what if this perceived freedom is, in truth, energetic disarmament, a deliberate lowering of defenses safeguarding your spiritual illumination? Ancient wisdom, often buried beneath dogma, consistently warned against casual indulgence in consciousness-altering substances. Not puritanically, but from an acute understanding of human energetic architecture. Your auric field, that luminous sheath of cosmic energy, acts as a permeable membrane. In high vibration and clarity, it's an impenetrable shield, reflecting dissonant energies, maintaining inner alchemy. Alcohol, a vibrational depressant, doesn't just loosen the tongue, it frays your aura's protective weave. As this shield thins, you become a beacon for what ancient traditions and forbiddens texts described as parasitic entities or negative astral influences. These are disembodied consciousnesses, vampiric currents thriving on lower frequencies: fear, anger, sorrow, fragmentation. What alcohol engenders? Imagine opening a gate, not to higher being, but to an unseen ocean teeming with currents, seeking to attach, feed, siphon your vital cosmic energy. The hidden mysteries lie in overlooked energetic consequences. Esoteric traditions, from Essenes to Vedic philosophy, understood this vulnerability. Their asceticisms were sophisticated. Energetic hygiene, maintaining auric field integrity, preserving purity for spiritual illumination, and sustained inner alchemy. To ascend, to tap boundless cosmic energy, the vessel must be intact, uncompromised by intrusions. Consider tales from forbidden texts, ancient scrolls dismissed as myth, warning of spirits that consume the soul. These weren't literal demons, but metaphors for succumbing to lower vibrations, becoming an unwitting host. When your energetic field is compromised, discernment dulls. Subtle whispers of your higher self drown in chaotic external noise. Your inner compass spins, swayed by impulses not truly your own, propelled by urges that deplete. Joyous spontaneity often masks profound energetic leakage, leaving you drained, susceptible, disconnected from authentic power. This vulnerability extends beyond alcohol. Any pattern consistently lowering your energetic vibration. Chronic negative thought, unresolved trauma, certain media consumption creates openings. The question then, if we unknowingly offer ourselves as energetic sustenance through casual indulgences, how do we reclaim lost vitality? How do we mend tears in our energetic fabric, not just to repel, but to amplify spiritual illumination and accelerate inner alchemy? What forgotten practices, what conscious acts of energetic sovereignty empower us to seal these subtle breaches and stand as luminous, unassailable vessels of cosmic energy, unburdened by unseen passengers? This journey demands not just abstinence, but active, conscious engagement with energetic integrity. A dive into your subtle body's architecture. This deeper dive into your subtle body's architecture reveals a fundamental truth: the perceived. Freedom offered by many indulgences, especially alcohol, is but a fleeting mirage, a cruel trick of the energetic mind. It does not liberate. It merely sedates the sentinel of your truest self. Ancient wisdom, whispering from forgotten grimoires and the oral traditions of cloistered orders, consistently warned against substances that promised expansion, yet delivered contraction. These forbidden texts spoke of the dissolution of the astral shell, not as an achievement, but as a dangerous vulnerability. When the senses are dulled by such agents, the conscious mind perceives a release, a loosening of inhibitions, a joyous abandonment. But what is truly happening beneath this veil of manufactured euphoria? Consider the ritualistic use of fermented beverages in many ancient cultures. Often, these were carefully controlled, consumed under strictures, and within sacred contexts, not for revelry, but to reach specific, often arduous, states of trance for prophecy or healing. The shamans of the Siberian steppes, the priests of Eleusis, they understood the fine line. They knew that an untrained mind, indulging casually, opened not a pathway to cosmic energy, but a gaping maw, a void into which one's own vital essence could drain, and through which less benevolent influences might easily pass. The connection felt in such moments, the fleeting camaraderie, is a superficial bonding of suppressed selves, not a true meeting of souls. It's the shared experience of shedding the weight of one's authentic burdens, not by resolving them through inner alchemy, but by temporarily burying them under a narcotic blanket. The hidden mysteries reveal the true spiritual illumination is born from clarity, from an acute sharpening of perception, not its blunting. How can one perceive the subtle currents of cosmic energy, the intricate dance of the cosmos, when the very instrument of perception, your consciousness, is deliberately obscured? Alcohol, in its essence, does not resolve your anxieties, your grief, your unspoken fears. It merely renders you temporarily numb to their insistent whispers. The self-consciousness that melts away is often the protective layer that guards your most vulnerable, authentic core, leaving it exposed, not truly free, but rather disoriented and disarmed. This is not liberation, but a sophisticated form of self-imprisonment, a gilded cage built of false promises. To mend these tears in your energetic fabric, to reclaim vitality and accelerate inner alchemy, demands a conscious withdrawal from all that diminishes your authentic vibration. It requires a radical honesty with yourself about what truly serves your highest good versus what merely offers transient escape. It means confronting the suppressed emotions, the unresolved traumas, not by drowning them, but by bringing them into the light of your awareness. This is the work of true spiritual illumination, transforming the lead of your inner shadows into the gold of awakened consciousness. The real freedom lies not in the absence of inhibitions, but in the presence of true self-mastery, in the ability to consciously choose your state of being, uninfluenced by external agents. This journey of self-sovereignty invites you to question the very nature of perception itself. If a simple indulgence can so dramatically alter your sense of self and connection, masking deeper truths, what other pervasive illusions might we be living under? What if the reality we perceive through our everyday senses is but one layer of an infinitely complex tapestry, and our inability to discern its true nature is less about external limitations and more about the subtle energetic distortions we unwittingly cultivate within ourselves? The subtle energetic distortions within us are not merely minor inconveniences. They are profound disruptions to our intrinsic resonance, veils woven from forgotten pain and unexamined desires that obscure the luminous clarity of our authentic being. Consider the ancient masters, those who walked paths of profound spiritual illumination. From the serene monasteries of the Himalayas, where Buddhist monks dedicated their lives to the eradication of all defilements, to the secluded Taoist hermitages nestled amidst mist-shrouded peaks, where the cultivation of pristine Qi was paramount, a consistent teaching echoed the imperative to maintain an unclouded vessel for the reception of higher truths. The fifth precept in Buddhism, a cornerstone of ethical conduct, explicitly warns against intoxicants, not as a moralistic prohibition, but as a practical safeguard for consciousness, a shield against the dulling of the mind that is essential for insight, for vipassana, the clear seeing of reality as it truly is. To them, the mind, when clouded by external agents, becomes a distorted mirror, incapable of reflecting the pure light of wisdom. Similarly, within Taoist philosophy, the pursuit of inner alchemy is inextricably linked to purity. The very concept of achieving immortality or transcending the ordinary human condition involved a meticulous refinement of internal energies, a process that could not tolerate the introduction of external chaos or artificial stimulants. The ancient Taoists understood that the human body is a microcosm of the cosmos, a conduit for cosmic energy. Any substance that disrupts the delicate balance of yin and yang within this microcosm, any indulgence that creates artificial highs or lows, was seen as a direct impediment to the flow of vital essence, or jing, and the refinement of spirit, or shen. They sought a natural intoxication, not from fermented grains or poppy sap, but from the harmonious circulation of qi, leading to a state of profound inner peace and vibrant health, a true spiritual high that emanated from within, even in the more mystical traditions of Sufism, often misconstrued through romanticized verses of wine and intoxication. The deeper meaning consistently pointed to a divine intoxication born of profound love for the beloved, not from earthly substances. Rumi, the great Sufi poet, spoke of the wine of silence, or the wine of the spirit, a metaphorical intoxicant that liberates the soul from the confines of ego, dissolving the individual self into the ocean of universal consciousness. The Sharia, the Islamic law upon which Sufism is built, strictly forbids intoxicants, understanding their capacity to obscure the heart, the true seat of spiritual perception, making it difficult to discern the whispers of the divine. This is not arbitrary dogma, but the ancient wisdom, distilled from millennia of observation of human consciousness and its intimate connection to subtle energies. These hidden mysteries, often encoded within what some might deem forbidden texts, due to their challenging nature, reveal that true clarity, true spiritual illumination, arises from a radical act of purification, a meticulous inner alchemy that transmutes the dross of our physical and emotional addictions into the pure gold of unfettered awareness. Think of it as tuning a delicate instrument. If you introduce interference, the pure note cannot resonate. Our subtle energy bodies are precisely such instruments, designed to receive and transmit the vast currents of cosmic energy. When we habitually dull our senses, when we seek external stimulation to fill an inner void, we effectively jam our own cosmic antennae. We become less receptive to the subtle guidance, less attuned to the universal symphony, less capable of discerning the profound truths whispered by the universe itself. This self-imposed energetic distortion prevents us from accessing higher dimensions of perception, keeping us tethered to a fragmented, two-dimensional reality, unaware of the vibrant, multi-layered existence that constantly surrounds us. What if the deepest secrets of creation, the very blueprints of existence, are not locked away in some distant vault, but are simply obscured by the noise we create within ourselves? What if the universe is constantly speaking to us, but we have chosen to deafen ourselves to its most profound pronouncements? The path to unlocking these deeper realities, these truly hidden mysteries, requires more than just intellectual curiosity. It demands a radical recalibration of our internal instruments. It compels us to ask, What truths remain veiled from us, not by external forces, but by our own chosen blindfolds, our own preferred frequencies of distortion? And what might happen? What new realities might unfold when we finally dare to remove them, allowing the unfiltered cosmic energy to flow unimpeded through our awakened being? What if the very fabric of reality is far more fluid, far more responsive to our inner state than we have ever dared to imagine? The ultimate secret, then, is not hidden in forgotten scrolls or distant stars, but within the very core of your awakened being. The spiritual alchemy we seek is the profound transformation of self, turning the mundane into the sacred, unlocking the boundless cosmic energy that flows through all existence. True illumination isn't found solely in deciphering forbidden texts, but in attuning your inner self to the universe's infinite symphony, letting ancient wisdom guide your awakened senses. It's about remembering what you truly are, a conduit for infinite knowledge, a key to every mystery. What revelation, what piece of your own internal alchemy has this journey stirred within you? Share your insights, your personal frequencies of truth in the comments below. Your contribution illuminates paths for others. If this message resonated, if you feel the stirrings of deeper understanding, please like this video, share it with those who seek similar illumination, and subscribe to our channel to continue unraveling the universe's most profound secrets. And to further your journey into self-discovery, join us next as we explore the language of light, understanding universal vibrations. Until then, may your inner light guide you